up for grabs now! Thomas!
Put through by Bold! Would you believe it?
Sidestepping one, sidestepping two! That is brilliant!
Van Persie closing in! Oh, he's got it! Great ball by Song, and Van Persie comes from nowhere.
Hello, this is Ollie1 Roddy here with Arsenal Talk on the Halftime Chat, and as you can see there I've got a little new intro which I'm going to put at the beginning of all my videos, hope you like it. Now today I'm going to talk about the Arsenal striker situation, in particular two players who could very much be in the running for the Arsenal strikers next season. One of them of course is our very own Robin van Persie, and another one of which is my personal favourite player who I want to be at Arsenal this season, that's Olivier Giroud. Now, reports in papers today have suggested, both in France and the UK, that a deal for Olivier Giroud has already been agreed in the region of 13 million, which is around his buyout clause. Now, I'm not going to go through Olivier Giroud because I've already done that in another video, but as anyone who's seen that video will know, I think that's fantastic. I think he's a fantastic player and I'd love to see him at the club. I think he's an all-round striker, and I think he can score a lot of goals for us. Now, of course, this does put one big spanner in the works, because we've already signed Lucas Podolski, who's got a fantastic record for Germany, established German international, also a very good record for Cologne last season. He's obviously a very good player. Giroud, also good player. He's not young, so we're not going to have to stick him on the bench. And also for 13 million, I sincerely doubt that Arsenal's going to give him a huge transition period. So if we do sign the player, he's a player I very much expect to start playing very soon. Now, what's the issue? Well, big issue. We've still got one of the best strikers in Europe right now in Robin van Persie. What are we going to do? We've got three strikers, potentially, who are not only good strikers in themselves, but also they're the national team strikers. I mean, Olivier Giroud, France's number 9. Lucas Podolski, I mean, he plays on the left wing for Germany, but he can play up front. And obviously Robin van Persie at the moment is in the Euros starting as the up front man for the Netherlands. Now, there's no way we can play three central strikers together. Obviously, there's the possibility of putting Lucas Podolski on the left wing. But then that still leaves us with Van Persie and Giroud, who really only play central striker. I suppose Van Persie can play just behind the main man. He's done that before. But to be honest, his record's been so good in the last season and a half, playing as the central striker, I'm not sure why Wenger would then put him back. Of course, that is still a possibility. You know, he's got a great assist record as well as his goal scoring last season. But he's clearly better utilised up front. Now, the issue this leaves us, and I did say that I wouldn't do a video about Van Persie leaving, but the issue leaves is this preparation? Is this basically saying, well, we're going to sign Podolski, we're going to sign Giroud, we've got two very good strikers, are we going to let our best striker go? Now, my personal opinion would be that we're not. I think that Arsene has seen a very good player in Giroud and thought that it's necessary, whilst the player's interested in coming to us for such a cheap price, that we buy this player regardless of the other situations. I mean, obviously we're looking to get rid of Schamak and Bentner and Weyer this summer, so we are going to be short in strikers anyway. The question becomes, is Giroud happy to maybe sit out some matches on the bench, or to come on as a impact striker halfway through games? Maybe they're just going to share the striking duties between Giroud and Van Persie. That could be Wenger's main idea, with playing Podolski on the left, or perhaps we're going to switch to a 4-4-2, in which case any one of those three strikers could start. I mean, the striking situation is a difficult one for Arsenal at the moment, because the fact of the matter is we've only really got one striker who's any good. In all honesty, I mean, Carlos Weyer has been playing reasonably well in Spain, but his record for Arsenal before that wasn't very good. At this present point in time, strikers who have a realistic chance of playing would be Van Persie, Schamak, Bentner, Weyer, and Park Chu-young. They're the only strikers we currently have at the club. Obviously, Lucas Podolski's just come in, but we haven't seen him in matches yet, so we don't know what's going to happen. And they're the only out-and-out strikers we have now. As I just said, we're planning to get rid of most of those. So then we only really end up with Van Persie and Park Chu-young if he ends up staying. And again, we haven't seen much of him. To be fair, I think he will probably be given more opportunities. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think he's been lacking those opportunities. He's played well for the reserves, for anyone interested. But then we're looking to get in. We're not buying in just like we did with Park Chu-young. We're not just buying a generic striker because we need backup. We're buying quality strikers. And it's the old FIFA mentality of everyone who loves playing FIFA 12, where you want to have 5 world-class strikers playing for you, but you can't play them all at once. And it's the same with real football, I'm afraid. I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to have next season, if Van Persie stays, which I very much hope he will, we're going to have 3 world-class strikers, and we're not going to be able to play all of them. And of course, even if we could play all of them, we're going to lose Theo Walcott or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I mean, this is the attacking mentality that we've got to get round, because even in a 4-4-2, yes, you would be able to play 2 wing players, such as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain or Theo Walcott or Gervinho, but we have so many wingers at the moment. Buying in more strikers is just going to put other people on the bench. Of course, I'm saying this like it's a hugely bad thing. What we've got to remember is teams like Manchester City, they have hordes of strikers available. And I mean, let's be honest, Aguero, Tevez, Dzeko, Balotelli, they're all strikers which, apart from Van Persie, they're better than any other striker we have considerably. And yet they've been expected to sit on the bench. Now, we don't want that to happen because, let's be honest, we're not like Man City. We're not just going to blow money on loads of players, but we want our players to be happy and we want them to play for the team. And we don't want to deal with divas in the dressing room. I mean, just look at players like Samir Nasri, who has, I mean, what he's done is astonishing. To go and say the things he said about Arsenal and the way he's acted about Arsenal, it's just terrible. And we don't want to have that again. We don't want players leaving off for big salaries just because they're not happy. We really want to get a good winning team mentality in the club. Now, I am going to talk about the ultimate sad thing happening. What if Robin Van Persie does go? Obviously, he's our captain. Obviously, he's provided a huge amount of goals this season. He's got a good understanding with a lot of our players, especially Alex Song, which was completely undiscovered until last season. Now, as much as I think Robin is one of the best strikers around, I think it has to be highlighted the amount of, I'm going to say this, tap-ins he scored this season. I mean, you know, he scored a few class goals, probably about half a dozen really world-class strikers' goals, but a lot of his goals have been poached, you know, being in the right place at the wrong time. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not a specific talent to only world-class players. I mean, Giroud himself, for anyone who wants to watch my other Arsenal Talk video with the clip of him, I mean, he scores a lot of poached goals. Podolski as well, bit of a fox in the box, they can get those poached goals, you know, and with the service that Arsenal provide from the wings, obviously, you know, we are looking to get goals like that. We're looking to just tag the ball back from the byline and just tap them in, and that's what Van Persie's been very good at. So maybe we wouldn't be losing a huge amount of class in Van Persie. That's one argument. Obviously, the other side is the record speaks for himself in the last season and a half. He has scored a fantastic amount of goals from all positions, and I think that it would be naive to suggest that him going wouldn't be a big issue, even if a lot of his goals weren't world class, because of just how important he's been for us, even as a captain, as a leading man, to get us back into games when maybe we're all down and out. The only other thing I will say, though, is that in games where perhaps the rest of the team haven't been so forward and haven't really come to the plate, I wouldn't say that Van Persie's particularly stepped up. I think that he sometimes lifted the team with some good goals, but I definitely remember periods this season where Van Persie's looked isolated. He doesn't seem to look to run to get involved. He doesn't seem to get stuck in. He just kind of wanders around in the front and waits for the ball to come to him, which isn't a great thing. But I think balanced against most of his core attributes, it's not something to worry about. I mean, you know, he's a fantastic player, and obviously we want him to stay. He's our Van Persie, you know. He's been with us for 8 years now. He's one of the longest serving players at the club. And that's really what we want at the moment. We want to send a message that we're not willing to just get rid of those players that are important to us. We want to keep them. And if it's only the promise he wants that we're going to go and win championships next season, well, that's not a bad promise to make. We need to do that, and if Arsene believes that signing players like Giroud and Podolski, and surely more to come, then that will happen, and we will go and win a championship next season. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about today. A little rant again. It's just getting off my chest my feelings about Van Persie and the striker situation. Now, I will be doing another video very shortly, but for now, if you could like, subscribe, and comment below any opinions you may have about what I've talked about today, or anything else about the Arsenal striker situation, I will have a look at them and get back to them soon. Right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.